this is Small Cap Nation. I'm Julia Sun in Times Square, New York. And joining us today is Mr. Myron Holubiak, the Chief Executive Officer from Citius Pharma. Welcome.
Thank you.
Some exciting news about your company.
That's right.
Tell us about it.
Well, Citius is a relatively new company. I had a private company called Leonard Marin Biosciences, LMB. We merged with Citius at the end of the first quarter of this year. Our purpose was we have a product that's being developed for cancer care, and that product is ready, and in fact we have started phase 3 trials. And the phase 3 trial is fairly expensive. It's over $20 million. And while we funded LMB basically ourselves, my partner Leonard Mazer and I, we've hit a point now where we have to start thinking about capital. And going public was a good idea, and we had an opportunity to merge with an existing company that also had a couple of assets, and one of which we were very interested in. So now we have a functioning company with 2 good platforms, and we're off to the races.
Mm-hmm. Cancer research is always on the frontier of medical research. And as far as we know, a lot of the biggest pharmaceutical companies have their people on the front line.
Right.
What makes your research different?
Well, it's a little bit different in that we're not looking to cure the tumor. We're not looking at the biologics or small molecules to treat the cancer itself. We're really focused on adjunctive cancer care. So we're having an explosion in cancer therapies right now. Even the moonshot that President Obama has launched is going to even further stimulate it. But the area that nobody seems to be looking at is the adjunctive side of treating cancer patients. So they get infected, they have chronic pain, they have nausea. There's a variety of things that happen in cancer care. My company is focused on those things. So our first product, Minolock, which is a lock solution, and it's used to treat catheters that usually deliver chemotherapy. A cancer patient is immunocompromised, they have neutropenia, and therefore it's very easy for them to get an infection. When they get an infection, it's a very serious issue. So about a third of them will die. And then when you detect that infection and you know that it's coming from the catheter itself, the treatment today is that you have to pull the catheter, treat the patient with a very strong antibiotic regimen, and then somewhere in the future, 3, 4, 5 days hence, you reinsert a new catheter because the patient needs a catheter. They need it for chemo, they need it for a variety of things. What our product does is it allows us to use a solution to lock the catheter, meaning to put the fluid inside the catheter, not have it functioning, not having it drip, for 2 hours a day for 5 days. At the end of that period of time, we have been, through our phase 2 trial, 100% successful in salvaging that catheter, sparing that patient the problems of removing and replacing a catheter, which is difficult, it's discomforting, it's very costly. It costs roughly $10,000 to use the cardiac cath lab twice, once to remove, once to replace, image it, have an operator, have some local anesthesia, etc. So we eliminate all that with what we have, and what we have doesn't really change normal workflow.
You are focusing on a part that is not well established by anybody else.
It's not being focused on, right.
Okay.
If we're going to build an organization, which we hope to be commercializing in 2 years, if we're going to have an organization that's focused in this area, we want to be able to have some synergies. So very small sales force, a very focused effort, knowing who our audience is, who our customer is. We've done it many, the folks that I have with me in Citius have all done this many times before. Today, up to $10,000 is spent on this remove and replace effort. Our product
for the patient, him or herself, or the insurance company?
For the insurance company. And actually it costs the hospital because they don't get fully reimbursed for this event. What we do is and we haven't priced the product yet, but I will promise you that it will be cost saving. And what I mean by that is that this therapy will be $1,000, maybe $1,400, somewhere in that neighborhood. We'll make that decision when we get closer to market. But it will be savings. It will have a $9,000 savings every time you use us, as opposed to the more discomforting remove and replace. So I think that's fairly important. So there's an economic argument. The other thing that we've noticed in our trials, we've had 18% fewer severe adverse events. Namely, we had none, and the other arm of remove and replace had 18%. And those adverse events come with costs. They come with pain, discomfort, and continued therapy. So we think it's a huge leap forward. Our partners who helped develop this in the first place, and we licensed it from them, is MD Anderson Cancer Center, which I think is reputedly the #1 cancer center in the world. And the individual who did the technical work is generally regarded as the top mind in this infection.
And how soon do you expect this technology to hit the market?
2.5 years, we will be introducing it. Citius itself plans to commercialize it. We do have people who are interested in us and want to co-market and co-develop it. And we're open to that. So I've been talking to several big pharmas who want a piece of the action, if you will. And you know, depending upon what those terms might be, we would consider that. But this is one of those platforms where we can do it ourselves. And we've done it many times. Cancer is a very serious problem. It's very widespread. Even President Obama's moonshot is another indication that there's an effort to try to find out how do we make this easier, faster to do. But clearly the whole industry is looking for home runs here. And I think they're starting to get singles and doubles, so we're moving along fairly well.
Do you have a ballpark number on how many people we're talking about?
For us, we have 7 million insertions of a central line in cancer patients a year. Of those, of the 7 million, about 500,000 will become infected. So we're looking at a marketplace in the United States of 500,000. Of course, we have worldwide rights. And that means that the world opportunity here, which is infections, would be well over 1 million.
Okay. And before we go, tell us about your background.
Well, my background is science, basically. I was in biophysics and molecular biology in graduate school at the University of Pittsburgh. Joined up with Hoffman LaRoche, Roche Laboratories, spent many years there in a variety of positions. Left Roche a while back and started my own company called Emron with an M. And that company was focused on health economics. I've always been interested in the economics of healthcare. Roche called me back after I had sold my company. Roche called me back to be president of Roche Labs US. So I was president of Roche Labs for a few years. When I didn't get the top job, I decided to try some other things. And this area of infectious disease and cancer care has always excited me.
Anything else you want to tell me about your company?
Well, we have another platform. When we merged with Citius, Citius was developing the only prescription hemorrhoid product. And we see that doesn't fit our strategic intent, but we think we'll take that through to phase 2B before phase 3 and find a partner for it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Myron.